Well, we're going to start just in rotation order. I don't mean to, bring a damper to the show with the Cardinals here going up against the Seahawks in this one. The Seahawks, look at that number right now at 8.5. Pretty significant, certainly, here with the Cardinals still just a one win this season. So that certainly is a they everyone's I agree. Okay, Cardinals, they've been competitive. Let's give them a lot of credit here for how hard they've tried for Josh Dobbs. He's you know hard trying dude. I guess you could say, right? And here, but going up against a Seattle team where there's question marks with Geno at this point, but I'm not that worried about the question marks necessarily with Geno. I mean, if anything, maybe he was overachieving with all those great numbers, right? You brought Geno in. Now I don't want to look big picture here, but the way they talk about, now we know Russell Wilson was just a product of the system. Well, maybe there's a part of that, but maybe Russell's also getting a little long in the tooth, so to speak. And maybe there was something there with the way Seattle and Carroll does things, and your Russell having to go to a new team and learn new. Maybe it's just not working out that way. But bring in Geno, Seattle kind of not missing a beat, at least offensively. Yeah, they're not maybe what we saw last year. I mean, that was a big surprise, right? When we saw Geno putting up those big. Sure, they go out, they get a quarterback. Remember, Geno was, kind of a backup, borderline starter, right? Trying to be a starter. Certainly looks like he has the ability to be a starter, right? Because look at the numbers. Geno's had big numbers, put up some of the biggest numbers in the league over the last season and a half, right? Yeah, the numbers have tailed off. He's still got two great targets. Uh, you know, I thought we did. I thought there was actually some. Let me check on that in on the. I don't think it's a big injury status, but let me just check on it. Uh, I thought DK had some concerns, right? Let's see here. Maybe we can. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't. All right. Maybe we can. This having some issues over here. I'm having issues. All right. Let me just go to my injury report. I'm over here. Uh, and again, you're dealing with a pretty big number considering the Seahawks here at 8.5. But man, I mean, when they're good offensively, right? I mean, in their wins, they've scored uh, 37 points a couple of times. Darren says he wants to take the points here, and Blake will take the Cardinals as well. And Ziggy likes the Cardinals. Everybody liking the Cardinals here. Look, they've been a hard trying group, man. I mean, they've overachieved if anything, right? Considering their 1-5 record coming in, but the last three games haven't been good. I mean, I have they've lost by an average of oh 16, 17 points in those last three games. What are the scores? They lost by 19, they lost by 14, they lost by 17. They've been outscored 98-30 in the second half. And to me, it's hard to pick blowouts. I'm probably going to be fading the chat. It's hard to lay double digits in this. It's hard to lay over a touchdown in this league, but I might be doing. This might be the game that I'm going to have to do it here. I'm not sure this is the spot necessarily for Arizona, considering now they have, like I said, they're covering some numbers despite losing 16 of their last 19 games. They've been covering a little bit. They're 7-9 against the spread their last 16, but that's a lot of losses. And Josh Dobbs, for all he has one win as an NFL starter, but this is an 8.5 point spread, and the Cardinals, they're giving up scoring 15 touchdowns on their last 44 drives. And, they're kind of giving up some points, man. Cardinals, one of the few teams that are kind of trending over of late. So they've gone over their team total in 4 of their 6 games, actually. Now, same thing with Seattle. For whatever their issues are, all the problems are coming in the second half as well. And they've been outscored 40-6 in the games they've lost. Here's Ferner. He wants to, looks like, tease the Seahawks here. Tease them down, I would guess, to maybe, well, it says 6. I think you mean tease them to under 6-point teaser there, maybe. Tease them to under 3. Take him at -2.5. I think that's what Ferner might be saying right there. All right, so DK questionable, right, with the ribs, but Lockett is active. He does have an injury designation here, a shin. All right. Gino, still under 500 as a starter. He's 13-13 with Seattle. Certainly, tough Seattle getting numbers here. Just 2-5 against the spread at home. Or let's see, no, 2-5. Yeah, 2-5 last 7 at home in the division against the spread. Also 4-8 against the spread last 12 as a home favorite. So I feel like I'm being contrarian again here, and it's I don't want to Seattle for me has the best chance to get the money out of these two sides, and I'm taking Seattle in this one for a significant victory here. It's got to run out. Look, I'm not saying there's anything good about the Cardinals, right? We know that this team is struggling. They're staying in the games, but I wonder sometimes how long that can keep up. Here, I'm going to lay 8.5. I'm going to lay points with Seattle today as my pick. Seattle's covered 3 of their last 4, and it's a big number I've got to deal with here today. But division series, Seattle's won 8 of the last 11. Cardinals get the money usually here, no doubt about it. But I just have concerns right now with Dobbs, with the offense in general, with the Cardinals. So, all right, not many comments on the play here. Let's move on. Oh, hold on, one more. Seattle money line here for Munchie. Pretty big number, I'm sure, here, laying a money line, but that's okay. Especially if you've got it in the over, parlaying it, teasing it. Teasers, parlays. Hey, I've got everything in my arsenal. I'm not afraid to use it. And I'm not. And Ferner coming in with some action here. Mike says, take the Cardinals. He says, hammer it. The Cardinals are, this is it. This is when the Cardinals make their move. This is when they're going to come through with a strong effort here, Mike says today. Hammer. It sounds like money. It sounds like a money line almost here. Hammer these Cardinals. No, thank you. No, thanks, Mike. But have some fun with the parlays. Ferner, thank you for your picks there. All right, I'm on Seattle. Feel like I'm on some interesting sides here today. All right. Well, the Steelers are taking on the Rams here in this one. Oh, shades of 1979. What year was that? Steelers and Rams have actually met in the Super Bowl. Steelers won that one 31-19. I know that. I think that was the score. And Super Bowl stands out for me. Just watching it a long time ago. And look at Mike talking about that other game, I do want to talk about the that the Cardinals, of course, will be taking some chances moving forward with um, you know if they do indeed have Kyler Murray come back to the lineup with that knee injury. But just want to mention, acknowledge that with Mike Kyler not back this week, but uh, they're going to take some chances. It sounds like. T Money says this afternoon card not that great. Ziggy wants to take the Rams here in this one with the Steelers coming in a non-conference game here with Pickett, who you know was injured before the bye, but he's going to be able to make this start here. And well, Pickett, you could do worse than 10-7. Pickett's record as a starter. Um, funny, Mitchell Trubisky, he's a winning quarterback too. Don't in his career, but the Steelers have been getting off to some slow starts of late. They've been outscored 26-3 in the first half, and Pittsburgh always clutch in these close games. But it's really the division games where they're always so closely rated, right? Uh, I don't know. Here in a non-conference game, feels a little bit more uncomfortable. Blake already ready to check in on the Rams. The Rams certainly have some issues in this game. Now, I don't know how it's going to affect them and their strategy, but they have running back issues. Not that they were, a great running team coming in or anything like that, but now with Kyron Williams out, the Rivers out, the Rams are kind of scrambling a little bit. Will that throw them into a mode where they feel like they have to pass the ball more? We already know they've, with Stafford and Cup back in the lineup now, and Puka Nakua, who getting the same amount of action almost. Maybe not the same amount of targets, but it's funny that they'd have two kind of the same route runners in there. It is kind of, I thought that Nakua would find himself without as much. Sure, the numbers are off the charts, but you can have Cooper Cup running the same routes. And yeah, I understand you can get away. You could have two of the same type of receivers in there, and you can line them up. That's the possibilities are endless. You don't need, but those two players, as good as they are, do have some limitations. So, but the Rams, going to be in a situation laying points here, and that's a little bit tough. Rams 6-11-1 against the spread, coming off of a win, and the Rams, like I said, those slow starts have kind of been affecting them. But can the Steelers get much going on offense at all right now? 4 of the 5 Steeler games so far this season have gone under. And man, Pittsburgh's good in close games, no doubt, but just have worries with a non-conference game here across country. Steelers have been outgained by 120 yards per game so far this season. So I think even the Steelers will find a little bit of success offensively here, and maybe it'll be because of what the Rams end up doing offensively as well. And with a controlled environment of the SoFi Stadium a little bit, I think that, I think the stadium lends to a fast track with being a closed facility, a roof facility, if you will. So this is one of the few totals that we've seen go up this week. T Money likes the Rams to win this one 24-17. I'm going over in this one as my free play. I was actually going to consider this for a premium, but now at 44, I'm probably just going to keep it here as make it a free play. And I do like it to go over with this Rams offense. And no doubt, I don't want to ignore the fact that the Steelers and that vaunted uh, defense, pretty sure I want to say yardage bottom three in the league. I'll cut them some slack, and we'll just generally. But the Steelers' defensive numbers are not Steeler like right now. There are issues, to say the least, with their numbers right now defensively. Very concerning. If you're you think you're the Steelers will be able to fix those a little bit. But I'd rather be playing the Brown. I'd rather be taking my chances at home, playing the Browns, the Steelers, the Ravens, in division, and take my chances with the defense that way, and not against this Rams team. T Money says, the offense, when you put teams in bad position, and that's always the case, right, T? We know that even a great offense sometimes can hurt the defense if they're too good. You want ball control drives. The Rams don't necessarily give that to you. I think the Steelers are able to get points here in this game and get their share of their team total and get it to help this game go over today as my free play. And one other thing to know, I mentioned something on a show last night. I don't know. I was trying to see if I was thinking, maybe the type of teams that play, because I've been on here harping about the unders this season, what type of games are going under, what situations, and one that I haven't talked about, but is certainly of note, is that on Sundays, because everybody knows about prime time, right? We all, prime time unders, prime time unders. The public's betting overs. You always get a little extra juice, a little extra half a point or point there, probably. Usually dealing with good teams. Well, supposed to be dealing with good teams in primetime games. On Sundays, the early games, those that start at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific, the early games have gone 17 and 32 to the under. Okay, a little 63.5% or so under on the early games. 17 and the late games have gone 13 and 10 to the over this season. That's only the window, the 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific window, not the late game or anything like that. And the thing about that, 10 and 6, that's not that big a deal. But when you're talking about such a contrast with the early games, and don't forget, last year we saw the games go 12 unders and 2 overs and 1 push or whatever it was. It was a big week for the unders, and those afternoon games, which entered the day 13 and 6 to the over, 70%, 69%, went 0 and 4 to the under last week. But still, to me, it looks like early games under, late games over. And I don't know. Usually there's a little bit of marquee window to that afternoon. There are less games in the afternoon usually. Today you got a 6 and 4 split. So, all right, enough about all that. I'll just take the over in this one. Steelers and Rams. I'm on some overs today. I'm big on. I'm Mr. Under. Remember, funny, I got mad at my 12. You look at my record here on the side with my winning in the Terrell, I don't count the night game as a afternoon game. I'm just saying the 4 o'clock window with the 4 games: Cards, Seahawks, Steelers, Rams, Chargers, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos. But here's the thing with that is that the teams in that 1 o'clock window, right? It's always like the NFL's kind of marquee mat is like that 125, that 425 game, right? Yeah, sometimes, but that's the national game, as they kind of say, right? You don't really have that in the morning the way the way they planned it out. I say morning. I'm on the West Coast. Nothing like having a big breakfast with NFL football. You guys having just plates all over, watching 7 or 8 games, sausage, pancakes, bacon. I know it's 1 o'clock in the East Coast, but all right. Rams money line and parlays for Mike. Are the Steelers in that position? You think today, right now? I mean, they are underdogs, so maybe that's. I get that. That's what if that's what you're saying on that one, Terrell. Interesting proposition there. Justin will go over with me. Okay, so I finished my story there. So I you look at the records of all, like I said, pull down the NFL menu, and I'm on all these totals, and well, I go under a lot. And well, I mean, if the unders are 68% or whatever, might as well go under. But I tried to go over in some games last week, lost those games. I think I was on both the games that on premiums. Two games went over, right? I think I was on them both. Or yeah, two games went over. I mean, or whatever when I went over, it went under. Okay, Mike, you don't like Pittsburgh money line. Oh, you're wrong on that. Take Pittsburgh money line. I think okay. The Chargers, struggling Chargers. They didn't, whatever reason. Well, I think maybe we can formulate some reasons for some of the Chargers' struggles right now. And we don't have to start at the top. I mean, we know what the Chargers' true problem is, and it starts at the top. But on the field, with just a 2-3 record, look, all 5 games decided by less than a touchdown. The Chargers will be in games every time, right? They're going to be competitive. Do they lack the clutch gene? Maybe they do. And of course, the one thing I've said about the Chargers, the reason why they end up on the short end of games sometimes, or is they cut corners. They don't pay up for things that you should, like things with training, facilities, coaching, things like that. And that's where you're going to get beat. You don't have a complete program type of thing. That's what the Chargers, problems are. They're terrific as a road underdog. No doubt about it. This is probably a pretty good spot for them here. No reason why they won't be able to sling it, I would think, with the Chiefs. Hey, Chiefs are great. Not only they're 5-1, they cover some spreads too. But in the division rival here, come on, this is everyone. The total already is it 48 or is it 47? It's down to 47.5. And this is a total that opened as high as 50 generally, but there were some look aheads as high as 52 in this one. Maybe with the Chargers offense having a little bit of struggles. They've looked bad in a few in some games, and you know that's my team. That's my team. So I feel like I know my team. We all feel like, and I'm going to be on my team half the time probably, and I'm probably going to be half the off the team, half the time as well. This time, I'm going to be on them. I'm going to be on the Chargers plus 5.5 in this game. Familiar rival in this one, and for whatever reason, the Chiefs. Yeah, they have some covers. They do in games like this. Justin wants the Kansas City team total over. Final. And T Money says, overrated team. And that's all. And that's a that's not even a that's just uh, I mean it's a debatable point because what does overrated mean? Because if anything, I think the Chargers sometimes do live up to their at least offensively, right? I mean, okay, yeah, Herbert. Maybe that finger was bothering him. Maybe they still kind of bothered a little bit by it. Here's Munchie wants the under in this game. Staley is he any? He feels like he's I think Staley might be hampered by some of the things that I talked about with what the Chargers really don't do as an organization. And when you take that job, you're kind of like, hey, I got a job with the you know we got a job with the Chargers. So playing in SoFi, kind of masks things a little bit as well. Remember the Chargers; they just rent. They don't. They don't own a building. They're not part of a city lease or anything. They just rent their building out from the Rams. They just pay them money to play in their stadium. So the Chargers don't even have a real, and we know they've got, we're not talking about them at home here. I'm just saying in general, right? Herbert hasn't won, and he won't. He won't. And that's why Rivers never won either, right? They just can't get over the hump because of this franchise. So I'm taking the Chargers here, of course. I want the Chargers plus points. Do I want the Chargers laying points? No. Do I want the Chargers to win a big game at home? They can't do it. They can't do it. Here they could probably cover in this one. The Chiefs are 3-7 against the spread against the division at home. The Chiefs are 16-24 against the spread, coming off of a victory. So I would take the Chargers in this one. All right, the one we've all been waiting for here, the Packers and the Broncos, the Super Bowl that you know right. We if we had Coriel back, it might be all right. So okay, the Packers coming in here against the Broncos. Not a great matchup here. Nobody wants the Broncos, right? I don't know. When are you going to take them? This is a National Football League. Should be able to win a few games. Even the Broncos showed some life. The one game that they won, they didn't cover the spread. But they are a 1 point dog here, I guess, against the Packers. And, well, I was on Jordan Love at the start of the year, and I said, you know what, maybe this will work out. Well, he's 2-4 as a starter in his career, and the Packers come in with a 2-3 record. They have been outscored in the first half over the last 3 games, 54-6. What's wrong? What is it with these teams and their really horrid starts? And T Money says Broncos can win. They can win. Can't trust either defense or coaching staff. Well, we can't pick them both to lose. So, Green Bay, though, one thing they do is, I like the fact that they are well scripted to start the game. I mean, that is definitely a positive for the Packers. I think moving forward. So I still, Jordan Love is the quarterback. I mean, there's not another option at this point. Their faith is going to be in Jordan Love, but he sucks on third down right now for the most part. And the Broncos, though, 1-5 straight up, 0-6 against the spread. They've given up an average of 36 points in their last 5 games. Let's do it, Darren. I mean, Darren wants it. Ziggy wants it. I'm going with. You already know I'm on the Broncos in this game. And it makes me feel dirty. But if the Packers are not going to show what I was expecting right now, I'm going to try the Broncos here. I don't even think. Yes, God got us. Thank you for blessing us here on Sunday. We need your prayers. Please pray for us today. We need your help. We need God's help to get us home and get these winners. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think I'm misusing my God card here. And God got us says, let's go with the Denver Nachos. And it's funny, right? I think maybe God got us is from Denver, right? That's what we called Denver. That's what we called them, right? If you're a Denver fan, when they wore those brown uniforms, that's what we call it when they wore those brown and yellow when they looked like the Wyoming Cowboys. Remember those uniforms they had? And then I think that's when we called them the Denver Nachos, right? Hello to Gary. The Broncos have been outgained in the last 4 weeks by 200 yards per game. And the Broncos are usually terrible in these type of matchups. Any game with a spread of 3 points or less, the Broncos are 5-14-1 against the spread in their last 20 games with a point spread of 3 points or less. And Denver's not done well in non-conference games either, with just a 2-5 spread record. Now Denver fades down the stretch. They've been outscored 99-62 in the second half. So you hope they're leading because, well, I mean, I know that kind of says, maybe the Packers, but I don't trust Denver to maybe come and get the score here, right, if they're losing. So for last Broncos, they've been kind of going over the total a little bit here, but man, this doesn't feel like that type of game to me. This feels like one of those. Ugh. 45. What's going on here, right? 45. Is it Aaron Rodgers out there? Who could we put in there for? Who could we put in there for Denver? Could we put Manning out there? I don't think but it 45 does not sound like Jordan Love against Russell Wilson right now to me. Right? 35. This one's broken. Maybe I'm just totally missing it here. Mr. Under. Look, we're not here to give away the premiums. It's not even in a package yet. I'm going to have premiums in the afternoon. If this game gets to 50 points, good on you. Come on. This is going to be 18-17, isn't it? Who's going to go off here? I was just trying. So, Blake, who else could we – who were some, quarterbacks – they've gone through a couple here since the Manning, and before Wilson, there were some bad quarterbacks in there. I'm just saying, if I'm thinking 45, I'm thinking, and like I said, okay, I'm Mr. Hey, the 45, right? Here's another interesting point about what I was saying with the afternoon games. So look at these totals in the morning games: 37, 37, 39, 41, 43, 40. And then you get to the afternoon, 46, 44, 50, 45. Taking the Broncos. It's going to be pretty bad game, and I'm sure Jake Plummer could be in there for the Broncos, Blake says. All right, I'm taking the Broncos. I don't feel good. But I want to be that guy. I'm going to take the victory lap. I'm going to go Adolis Garcia. When the Broncos win, I'm going to stomp on home plate. I'm going to throw the bat up in the air. Look, surely you can't be serious. And don't call me Shirley. If the spread's one, right, the public has to be 50-50, right? Now, I know it doesn't necessarily say that. Maybe your site, where I'm watching the money, the tickets are on this and the money is on that. Well, spread of one, I would feel like this is a toss up for the public too. Someone's taking the Broncos, right? I'm not alone here, am I, Howard? So give me Denver in this one, and I don't know. This is the NFL, right? Where teams, okay, there's some bad teams sometimes end up with one win, two wins, three win, whatever. Nowadays, unless you're super horrible, and Denver's pretty bad, but you find spots to win. They're 1-5 right now. Home team, pick 'em game. Sometimes you can just erase. You best put the team name up there. Let's take a home team. Let's take the Broncos. Maybe they'll go 1-16. I don't know, but and I have questions and concerns. It looks to me like you know, Sean Payton, maybe it has passed him. Maybe he took the wrong job. I don't know. Look, if I'm looking to take a job, and even if I'm questioning myself as far as like maybe do I, Sean Payton, I'm sure thought he'd grab his assistant. Remember, there's been a whole mess here since Sean Payton got here with give me my guys. You don't want to necessarily do that, right? Going back to my guys, that doesn't work out too much anymore, right? Because age gets up there. We know you got to have young talent, man. Age doesn't necessarily work hardly anymore at all. Yeah, quarterback is a different story. All right, that's it. That's the afternoon games. We got one more, and it's a big one. It's the biggest game of the season tonight when the Dolphins take on the Eagles in Philly. Oh man, this is going to be good. The Eagles here, you know, certainly have to still be considered up there with the 49ers. Okay, the 49ers are great. They've showed some, there's no reason why the Eagles can't still, hey, home field advantage, still, somebody's going to get home field. Now, don't sleep on the Dolphins. I mean, look, okay, the Bills are back. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Dolphins are right there. You can't tell me with that offense, the Dolphins can't go in the playoffs in any of those two cities or this city and win the game with that offense and that defense. The defense is okay. It's not like the other top contenders, maybe, but they've done a nice job getting a defense that can be good enough to be a Super Bowl contender. The Dolphins are there. The Dolphins have it. Because of what we've seen so far, the explosiveness. They've scored 30 touchdowns on 65 drives this season. They've got it's right. It's not the Chiefs right now. Okay, the Chiefs got Mahomes. They've got talented speed. The Dolphins get an injury. They just got another guy to come take their place. It's been too bad they've got some of these guys injured. And you got Coach Logic. And I didn't know. And I follow the league. I read a lot of stories, and I don't know. Did you guys see that? I think was it Clarissa that had the interview with Coach Logic? He was battling, drinking. He was throughout all of his successes as he had gone through the ranks. Coach Logic liked to drink. Sounds like he's quit. Sounds like he's found himself. He was just a young buck thinking he could, have a good job in the National Football League, be a great assistant coach, an up and coming assistant coach, and hit the bottle a little bit at night. And when some other coaches did an intervention with Coach Logic. So don't, we need you, you're elite, Coach Logic. You don't need to be going home and doing this right now. You have what it takes to be one of the best coaches. And I think we see that. I think we see that with uh, with Coach Logic. Oh, boop. No, but the way he described it, it was it was an every night thing. It was affecting his job maybe a little bit, or maybe affecting his ability to get the job. He's got it here. He's got the quarterback, right? Everybody kind of made fun of Tua in the kind of in the beginning in a way, but
Final.
want to keep him healthy. What is that, Mike? Is that a typo? God got us, says Eagles might feel a win. Ziggy is on it here. Blake talking about these quarterbacks and their, um, it's not a rivalry because these guys are friends, but they are turning, they're competitive guys. So they've turned it into a little bit of a rivalry in a way. And that was part, that's what you're going to see today, too. Well, I mean, I guess I've got to make the call here. Um, I think the Dolphins are staying in this game. I think the Dolphins can win this game. I'm going to have a really fun time with this. The variance is there. The Eagles certainly can win and cover, but I just think in a game like this where we, I don't think it's a blow. I don't think that the Eagles, they don't look like the put away team, right? They don't put away teams here necessarily at this point. The Dolphins have the ability to come back at any moment with this team, with this offense. Well, for whatever reason, the Eagles are feels like they're letting teams hang around a little bit here. Now, uh, the Dolphins are pretty terrific coming off of a win 23-12 against the spread. Coming off of a win. So Eagles struggled last week a little bit. Well, I say struggled. They didn't. They rushed for only 80 yards, but they had been, uh, you know, one of the best rushing teams in the league. You think of Hurts and all that, but I mean the Eagles run the football very, very well, and they were running the ball for like 175 yards, or I guess that's what their average is now, right? Uh, really strong running team, but they've got explosiveness too. Thank you, Ziggy. And man, that total's gone up. Total's gone up high, but in fact, it's 52 now since the last time I typed this in a couple days ago. But feels like it's going to be fun and have a great game. I know it's a prime time game. You want to think under here necessarily, but man, it just feels like it's going to be too much fun. With
Final.
with two of the best, of the best teams, two of the five or six best teams. It feels like, we talk about maybe it's wide open. It doesn't feel like it is wide open to me. I really think I'm more in narrowing it down to those, uh, five elite, six elite teams. If you put in the Cowboys, right? But Philly, San Francisco, right? Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills. Does anybody, and then and Cowboys, and does anybody want to go anywhere any deeper than that right now? Do you really can anybody go any one step deeper with with a team and really feel compelled about that team of Ravens? I don't know. I don't know if it's there for the Ravens even entirely. It feels to me like those five teams are the only ones, and the Dolphins might be number five out of those, right? Because maybe they're the team that really doesn't have the experience necessarily. So be uh, Coach Logic be hitting the vape in between plays. He's got it. Can't drink. So, Ivan Riley, it was nice to have you here. I want to shout you out. You made your comments there talking about the Lions. Okay. I'll put them in there. I'll put them. I don't want, I can't, Ivan, I can't put the Lions in there. Thank you for mentioning them. I don't want to ignore them because I've certainly, and maybe I didn't include them because of the reason why I won't put them in that elite group because of that. It feels like the Lions could have a situation where they end up playing Philly or the Niners, right? And that's where you're gonna be like, if you said it right now, you'd probably go with the other team. I know my Lions fans are in here. Hey, it might right, and the Lions don't have the experience in doing it. But yeah, okay. I'll put I certainly put the Lions with the Cowboys at least right now, no doubt about it. Even with the Cowboys, give them a little bit of experience. I mean, they've had some playoff games. All right, I'm taking the Dolphins here. I'll take them on the money line as well. Dolphins to win, keep it rolling, get even more attention at this point. Uh, just the Eagles, I think they've given just a little bit back here over the last couple of games. Wouldn't reflect it necessarily in the record because this is a battle of two 5-1 teams, and that makes it all that much more exciting tonight. One worth watching. Which one are you going to have on the big screen? The baseball or this one?